Like I said, we're going to go ahead and jump into game here. We're going to go over the DE Nuke nade spots. Got several to show you, but I hope that you guys have some areas and maybe some questions about how to play certain positions on this map. Okay. I don't know why you can't carry more than 4 grenades. Now it's kind of stupid, but nonetheless, we'll go ahead and hop right into it. Okay. The first one you guys just saw me play Nuke Matchmaker, which was kind of cool for you to see in advance what we're gonna do. But nonetheless, we'll hop up here to the one I was throwing. I threw a couple times. I think a lot of you may be interested in. But since I can't carry 4 grenades, typically what you want to do is first of all you want to jump across, make this jump over, and land right in here, and then hop on up to this secondary silo or whatever you may call this thing on top of Twinkie. Okay. From here, as you're working your way up, typically what I like to do is throw an HE grenade to land somewhere on top of this little sky roof right here. Okay, but since we can't buy 4 grenades, all I'm going to do is shoot out the glass in the sky, because essentially that's what the HE grenade's going to do anyways. So I'll go ahead and shoot those out. Get all of them cleaned out here. Okay, and basically what this nade is for is to molly this Mustang area kind of right in here, okay, and then top a hut, alright, kind of like right in here. And you can do that in such a way that you can utilize it in a rush, which is what you saw me do in the matchmake. So what you're going to do is you're going to come to this little barrel here, okay, and the little angle that you see here on this barrel right here is what you're going to want to put your mouse on, or your crosshair on, okay. Notice that it's the angle with this little dot on it, okay. So if you go over here, it's not going to work. Okay, so you've got to come to this angle right here. Okay, just want to stand up, pull out your molly, and you see the light pole in the distance there. All you want to do is put your crosshair right on that. Okay, from there you light your molly, you throw it in. You can see where it bounces thanks to the nade trajectory there, and as you can see, it mollies on top of hut and all of Mustang. Okay, so a great nade to utilize for an upper rush. Behind that, all you've got to do is just come up here, throw your molly, okay, just like we did, which we'll go through the whole sequence again, okay. Throw your molly, throw your flashbang, and then boom. You've got a decent little rush right there, okay. You've got guys that can smoke and flash and do whatever out of the hut and out of the squeaky door to ensure that you get a good rush. All right, so that's the first one. Okay, remember, if you guys missed something here, it's going to be on a video on demand on YouTube, so you can always feel free to check it out in the meantime. Okay, while we're on the roof, we'll kind of stay up here with the theme. Okay, and the next one we're going to do is just it's a very simple sky flash. A lot of teams use it. A lot of teams have been using it for a number of seasons now. But essentially, what it is you come up here, you stand. First of all, you stand on the middle vent here. And all you want to do is just kind of get yourself right on it. You want to line your crosshair up in such a way that the center of it is right below the cylinder thing on top. Okay, so we want to put it right here, nice and snug, and all we want to do is throw the flashbang. Okay, obviously we've already busted out the glass, so it's going to come more into the sight. But if you haven't busted the glass, yes, to answer your question, Rufy, yes, Mustang is this area right here. Okay. If you don't bust the glass, that flash will kind of just land up here, but it will also give the CTs kind of a heads up to turn if they know to react to that noise. So that's a good one there. Nothing too crazy about that flash, but yet it's still pretty effective on the rush. Okay. The next thing that we can use with the rush is just a very basic flash off this wall to kind of get you some positioning into this area. Okay. I'm going to show you a very basic setup to kind of get yourself in position to throw it. Now, if you get very comfortable with it, you can move around, you can do different angles with it, you can throw it on the run, etc. But what I'm going to show you is more of a set flashbang. That way there's no guesswork, you don't have to worry about putting your crosshair, there's nothing funky to it. But essentially you're going to line yourself up in the middle of this black circle in the middle of the floor. From there, if you notice, there is a little crack right here, and I'll go ahead and shoot at it, kind of mark where it is on the wall. Okay, we're going to look just to the left of that mark. Okay, so we're going to look like right here. You can crouch, you can stand, it doesn't matter. But essentially, you're just going to throw it right there. Okay, and it's going to flash right out of hut and be a pretty good pop flash to anybody that would be playing in front of nukes or maybe behind nukes or even heaven, so it will help heaven as well. So that's a decent little flash. And like I said, you can really get crazy with it. You can kind of throw it on the run, move your crosshair down a little bit, and just take off with a full sprint, just like that. Follow it up, and you're right there. So it's a decent little thing. Something that you may see a lot of teams run is kind of an anti-eco strat, or maybe even a pistol. Some teams which I've been on have ran this as a pistol strat. But what you can do is you can come right in here to shoot. You know what? I don't have an HE grenade. Let's restart my game. I'm pretty much done with the mollies, so I'll just get my standard grenades from here. So what we're going to do is you're basically going to run to this point right here. You're going to throw your HE grenade, and you're going to follow it up with a smoke right behind it. What that HE grenade is going to do is going to take out this door. Okay, the smoke is going to be a perfect smoke to mini. And if you want to, what you can do, and this is where a lot of eco rounds it comes in handy, is you just pop vents, boom, and you just come right down here, boom, and then you just jump down here and plant the bomb. A lot of teams can do that quickly enough to where the CTs don't have time to stop or prevent the bomb plant, so it's just a cheap way to get a bomb plant and assure a bomb plant if you can get it to your front guy. Okay, so that's pretty cool. We will move on to some outside stuff. Okay, again, guys, a lot of these are field or practice. They are very simple, I think. I don't think any of them are too complex. But the next one we're going to talk about is a mini smoke. Okay, you can throw it all the way from back here, but what you're essentially going to do is you're going to line your crosshair up with the top of this fence and this steel pole that you see going up right here. So all we're going to do is line it up here. We're going to run in a straight line towards where we're aiming, and we're just going to jump. We're just real simply going to jump and throw at the same time. Not a hard throw, but as you can see, it prevents any sort of vision from mini towards secret. So if anybody would be playing a rifle in this area, they'd have to really expose themselves to potential flashes or nades to try to make a play on the secret. So pretty good right there. As far as a smoke for big garage goes, I mean, you can just throw this right here. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's not really that hard, and you can do it without being seen. So obviously that's not a great smoke, but you know, it's pretty standard. It's not like there's anything groundbreaking there. Okay. There's not really anything else out here that is very concerning. We'll go to ramp room. I know you guys saw me throw a smoke and utilize a little combination in ramp room earlier. Okay. But what you're essentially going to do is you're going to come to ramp room. Okay. If they're opping it, you may kind of throw a flashbang right here just to deter an opper to PQ, jump across, and then get in this position. Okay, you're going to have a little slight elevation change here, so you want to be up on this ledge, and you want to be able to see the top right-hand corner of this door. From there, all you're going to do is put your crosshair in the top right-hand corner of the door, pull the pin, throw the smoke. What that's going to do is prevent an opper or a rifler to shoot you from that angle. As you saw in the matchmake, what I followed that up with was a flash there, a peek here, a peek here. Now this guy right here, he was pretty much all over it. You can see that flash relatively easy. So what I suggest doing is just kind of going back here and then just throwing a lob. You know, that's going to be, while it may blind you, if there's a guy playing this angle, as you can see, right here is about where he's going to see it. So anything up to that point is not going to be blind. However, you can pre-fire that corner and kind of help you. So, you know, just play with it, see how it works for you. It may be a good situation to help you rush and take this ramp room. If you have somebody close behind you, you can probably trade that kill in the corner, and it works out well. While we're in ramp room, another couple flashes that people tend to underutilize, especially which you guys may have seen me do this pistol round, is just the flashbang there. Okay, all that's going to do is just prevent some sort of heavy-duty rush right at you. While they're going to be able to see it, they're going to have to turn, you know, and it's really just going to be in their way. Another thing you can do if you're playing down this ramp is just flash there. Oops, that was the wrong angle. Throw there. It's just going to flash back over. If you're getting ballsy, you can peek with it. I don't suggest doing that, but you see what it does. On the flip side of that, you can also throw in from a CT side standpoint. Just right there. or, you know, without being seen right there as they're rushing, you know, whatever. And I know we're not on boosts, but this is a good spot up here if you can ever get a boost down. Actually get up here. If you can get 2 smokes and give yourself some time to get up there, it's actually not a bad little spot. As far as CC side goes, there's really nothing fancy that I would suggest playing. I would make sure if you're a Heaven player, just make sure you kind of know how to throw that smoke there. Maybe even a little deeper than that. Same with flash, just make sure you know how to get them in there. That way you're not constantly blinding your teammate or throwing errant smokes. But really, I mean, that's about it. I mean, that's pretty much the standard smoke grenades for Nuke. All right, so at this time, I'll go ahead and open it up to any questions about the map of Nuke. If anybody has position-specific stuff, strat-specific stuff, or anything of that nature, feel free to ask it. I'll do the best I can to explain it and hopefully shed some light on the topic you may be struggling with. Okay. You guys have been relatively quiet, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Not everybody at once now. I'm gonna get some music going just to chill with. What's the best way to cover outside? Oh, that's a good question. First and foremost, with outside, what you don't want to do is you don't want to die. I know that sounds very, it's the best, very simple, but essentially that's really the thing that screws teams the most, is when their outside player is playing too aggressive, maybe opping something stupid like up here, gets flashed and gets killed easily without being able to count numbers. Okay, but essentially as an outside player, your job is to spot players. I mean, if you can't spot enemies, then essentially you're useless. Okay, so what I would suggest doing is if you're an opper, try to stay away from the very peekable angles. I know you guys saw me playing like here and going back and forth. One of the main reasons I was playing that, because I started out here, well then I had a teammate just kind of come out here with me. But the reason I was playing those very peekable angles is because I had a teammate creeping up along this wall. Okay, so he was able to trade anything if I were to die. He would at least have some sort of advantage. But essentially, as an outside player, this area, basically, I'm going to draw a line with my gun. This area, like through here, okay, and I'm going to keep going on the other side, it doesn't matter, okay? The T's can't do anything at that point right there. The only place they can really hurt you is the other side of that line. If they get to hut, or to mini rather, if they get into here, they can really kind of disrupt a mini or squeaky player, depending on what the setup is inside. And then also they can get to secret or through big garage. So your main focus as an outside player needs to be that cross right there. Wouldn't really suggest playing this, but it's always an option. If you're looking for something different, just try to get yourself lined up with like the very edge of the box. So if you shoot, you can fall rather quickly and just kind of flash. But essentially, your job is to watch crosses. Utilize playing up in rafters, counting numbers and stuff like that. But if you play rafters, just make sure that whoever's playing squeaky or mini understands where you're playing and understands how they have to play. Because if they're just playing the standard mini, holding squeaky, and hut, then they're going to get flanked from outside, most likely. Okay. Another thing you can do is if you have a guy who likes to play in the mini area and kind of rotates back and forth from outside, something he can do is just come out here and just throw a smoke grenade. It's probably a little too deep. I don't really work. And just kind of hold here, and then you just kind of run through ramp room all the way down through here, yada yada yada, and then come up through here secret. I would probably walk once you reach about back vents, back in there. Maybe even earlier if you have contact outside. And just come up right up here and just kind of hold a head level. Okay, nothing too fancy. One thing you need to take advantage of if you're an outside player is just a good flashbang. This one's really good. If you kind of look down like head level and just throw a line drive flashbang, that's where it's going to go off. So if anybody's pushing, I mean, you see where it comes. I mean, it's going to be right there in their field of vision. But again, the main thing is don't die, especially early in the round. If you do die, make sure you've got a good count on numbers, and depending on where you play, just make sure your mini player is kind of in sync with you. Okay. How to take A later into the round, and the only position you have is lobby. Okay. So what you're saying is you're being pushed from everywhere other than lobby. Okay. You can utilize a couple different things. One of those being the flashbang here. Okay. You know, setting yourself up right here, and then throw in the flashbang on the run and just pushing it behind it. Okay. Another thing you can do there, which I'm not a fan of, but I've seen it work, is throwing the same smoke grenade. If you can get it far enough out, it's okay, but a lot of times people tend to just run out with it right there. Or the other side of that equation, if I can get through it, is just to come hauling out of it right here and just look out there. It's an aggressive play, but if your only position is lobby, then maybe all you've got to resort to. Another way is to do the same smoke. You can kind of couple these. You can put these together. A combination of any of them may work. Anyway, you throw a nade here, you throw a smoke, and then maybe just follow it up with a flash, and then you just push in behind it. You know, so real simple. And then if you have a smoke here, and a flashbang comes out that they can't see, you may be okay. If you can get position of hut and maybe clear up above it, you can always throw a flashbang up here. Not that it's a pop flash, but it'll make anybody in rafters kind of turn their head anyways. Okay. So that's a couple things. I hope that helps. But ideally, excuse me, I gotta yawn. Excuse me. Ideally, if you're gonna have position or control of hut, lobby, you can probably get up here and throw this flashbang just like that. Okay, that was actually a bad flash. Right there. And as you can hear, it busted the glass there. Okay. So, just a couple things that may help you. Okay, what else? What else you guys got? Keep them coming, guys. Let's go. Boop. Speaking of the devil, League of Legends sent me an email. How ironic. I forgot to mention you can kind of throw flashes through here too, obviously. Not really good smoke out there, unless you just throw it hard and at that corner. That's probably not even that good either. Just thinking of a way to block out. Well, that's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. Okay. How to hold ramp as a CT and how to rotate effectively if it's a rush. Okay. Well, if it's a rush, that means a couple things. Either A, you don't have enough grenades to kind of help prevent a rush, meaning a smoke. I like to throw a smoke into there. Or it's because you don't have flashes, or it's a pistol, like you saw me get pushed on the pistol round. But incendiaries are always a good tool. Just remember, anytime they have to run through a choke point, incendiaries are going to be strong. So I'm kind of an old school player, so a lot of times I haven't really gotten incendiaries into my repertoire, and that needs to change personally. But using mollies, using preventative smoke grenades, stuff like that, just to prevent. I wouldn't throw a molly unless I knew they were coming, because here's another beauty of it. The quickest way into the site is this way, and the more you can get them to stay up top, the more skittish they get to come down this way. So say they're rushing you, you don't have time to get a molly off in there, you can still drop one in here and it'd be pretty effective. Okay, whether you just bounce it off that wall and then fall, maybe throw a high flash as you're running away, just get set up. But mainly just just get your preventative nades off. You know, your two biggest nades are smokes and flashes on CT side, ramp room especially. So just keep that in mind. Don't buy HEs and 2 flashes. Get a smoke and flash before you get anything else. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. This beer's getting to me already. And then how to rotate effectively if it's a rush. That's kind of a tricky situation, and it's very situational dependent. You know, if your guys enter get taken out relatively quickly, you kind of have to assess the situation, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to run up this ladder and just get caught, you know, running up here, and then get shot as soon as you come up the ladder. But at the same time, you don't want to be so slow that anybody alive in there is going to be dead. So I'm going to say if your heavy guy gets taken out, I would probably try to rotate here as quick as possible and just check your radar and throw a flash here, and then just try to stay as close to the wall as possible without being seen from the other side, or even this side. You know, and just try not to fight until you get your feet on solid ground. The other side of that is if your squeaky player or mini player gets taken out and HUD is, or Raptors is occupied, then I would just suggest kind of slow pushing ramp room. You know, don't make a lot of noise, because typically every team will have one guy that just kind of sits back and is really lurking for kills, etc., etc. So, you know, again, situation dependent. Try not to rotate to a position that's already vacated, or already vacated. Okay. How to hold B after you lose ramp. Dang, Groovy, you're just killing it right now. Okay. A couple spots you can do. Okay, obviously, you know, we just talked about the flashbang, the throw, fade away. Run to this spot. You can run to the other spot here. You know, those aren't bad. If you've got help back by Nuke, maybe you can kind of just hold one side. He can peek the other. You know, say you got a guy holding your left side. He can sit here and hold that, shoot at him here, and then you can kind of get in this angle, because their focus is going to be on that fire and what that teammate over there is calling. So, you know, if you can see something and shoot at them, that's good. But what this guy back here has to understand is he can't die, because if he dies, then any kind of leverage, any kind of bait and switch you guys would have is now deceased. So, but you've got that. You've got dark spot here. You got this corner too. It's really hard to get back into this area back here though, especially if they've pushed ramp room. But anytime you can get back here and just kind of pick a side, just kind of shoulder peek it, whatever. You know, you can do that. Sorry, you're yelling. Just make sure they weren't yelling at me. Huh. Not sure what they're talking about. But anyways, yeah. So that's really it. I mean, it's really kind of hard to get, like I said, to get back to this area. But you know, if you got a teammate that can rotate quick, maybe one guy's playing like close vent here, or something. You call ramp rush. You can just shoot the vent, boom. He's right here. He can hold your right side. While you just focus on the left, you know, he can just shoulder peek it, keep him busy on both sides. And then, you know, use a ramp player. Just kind of wait for the right time and just peek. Maybe wait for a spray of some sort and just peek around the corner and get them while they're, you know, after their third or fourth floor. Okay? So.